What's going on, y'all squad? This is your boy Yaka. This is your review for The Real Housewives of Orange County, Season 16, Episode 2. So, before I get started, this review is probably going to run just a tad bit long. And rather than, because I'm going to share a personal story, but what I'll do is I'll save it towards the very end, but it has to do with the party. So, if y'all don't want to hear that story, then y'all can just click off when I start talking about it. But let's go ahead and let's start. So, still at the party, you have Jen and Noella talking, and they both realize that they are two completely different individuals. Where you have Jen that is juggling everything in her life, being a mother, being an entrepreneur, a doctor, all these other things. Yet you have Noella because she mentioned that she woke up late and then rolled out of bed and just started getting herself glammed up. And Jen's whole thing is I can never be that particular person, which is understandable when you're dealing with someone that is an entrepreneur, but at the same exact time, it is very elitist and kind of look at your nose down because there's nothing wrong with being a stay-at-home mother. Wait, does Noella have kids? Doesn't even matter. But regardless, we'll get there. We'll get there. Nicole and Shannon talk, which is interesting. You can see the energy more or less coming from Shannon because Shannon's just like, okay, this is the woman in particular that I'm talking about. And it's like, oh, okay, well, we're here. Let me make nice. All this other stuff. Whatever. Very fakey, jicky, jicky. I say that because I'm one of those where if I ain't got nothing to do with you, I ain't trying to deal with you. And but at the same time, but if I've been talking mess about you, I really don't want to be in your presence. But I'm also that person where anything I say behind your back, I'm going to say it to your face. Like, I'll let you know, just like, look, I ain't seen you in a hot minute. Let me let you know I done said this. It just is what it is. But there's also the whole time and place. Whatever. We're moving on. So Emily, Gina, and Nicole, they're all touching boobies. They're touching boobies. Oh, I forgot. I'm doing it again. Let me minimize myself because it ain't about me. But they're touching boobies, and this is their way to segue into asking Nicole about what happened with her, breasts. And she pretty much mentions like, well, it's a long story. And did it come out right then? I need to make sure if did it come out right then. Well, but she said there's a long story regarding her implants. Shannon and Noella start to talk and realize that they both share the same healer. And what is funny is Shannon shares this same thing when it comes to Vicky, who is not on the show again. I am happy she's not on the show. Because if there's something that they have in common with another person, they'll use that and create the relationship based off of that and nothing else. But if they don't have any ties, it's just like, well, I want nothing to do with you because both Vicky and Shannon are both Aries. Y'all know how I feel about Aries. I'm going to just leave that where it's at. That's probably why I really don't see it for Shannon. And I really don't see it for Vicky. But nevertheless, Gina pulls Heather to the side and she pretty much spills the tea. We'll dig in deeper as to why she did what she did. But she pretty much tells her, because in her mind, it's just, I have this information and I feel weird having this information, being in this woman's house, knowing what I know and not saying anything. I can totally understand it. What I'm going to say, and Heather said this also, time and place. Because once you figure out this is the same Nicole, you could feel away. And all she could have said is, hey, Heather, can we pencil in a date where we can talk later on this week about something? Because I don't think this is the time or the place. Simple. Granted, Heather's mind would have been spinning if she wanted to have the conversation then because it's her house, her party. That would have been great. Just saying. But she spills the tea. Simultaneously, Emily confronts Shannon. Hold on, wait. Yeah. She confronts Shannon about the whole thing because she's asking Shannon, okay, well, did you tell Heather? And Shannon, whole thing is, I thought we all agreed that we were going to tell. And here's the other part, because again, this is reality television. If this was just regular, everyday people, and they agree never to talk about it, it's fine, because there's nothing. The fact that this conversation started on camera, then we went to the confessionals to just air out everything that happened, but the fact that you brought this woman up on camera, even if y'all never address it during the season, again, it's going to come up at the reunion. So it's like, okay, it was already on there. Are we really doing ourselves a service? And I'm sorry, I just can't get past it because I do understand the whole. Okay, I have friends. I'm talking to my friends about something, blah blah blah, but still being very aware of what's going on. And then why share something with your friends when these friends have not met this woman and they're going to meet this woman in her house? Like, come on, Shannon, come on. Again, not going down that road. Y'all know how I feel about Aries. Not all that. Well, the Aries that I know. Let me put that. I'm still at the book. Well, no, I can't really see out the book of giving you the real tea because he say the AKAs that he know, but then with the Aries that I know, I don't really fucking like. It is what it is. All right. Anyway, let me see. Where am I in my notes? So Shannon then joins Heather and Gina. And for me, this is okay. This has happened. I need to do damage control because that's how that came off to me. Like, let me hurry up and plead my case before this spirals out of control. And Heather walks off because she hears what's being said from Gina, and now you have somebody else that's joining. It's just like, you know what? I don't have this to do. She walks off. Gina and Shannon are now going at it, and not Shannon, Gina got to the point where she's like, you know what, I'm done, and walks off. Okay, all right, I can't be mad because for those who watched, Shannon has done the same exact thing, where she pretty much said, I don't know if she necessarily said I'm done, but said something along the lines of I'm done, and she walks off. That is her thing. So, okay, whatever. So Nicole says, well, now Nicole is sitting amongst Emily, and Jen has now joined the fray just there. You have Noella just floating in the background. And Nicole, because Nicole is asked about what happened from Emily, and she pretty much says, look, I was a young model, had the surgery done, whatever, whatever, and I was pretty much forced by my attorneys to sue. And Heather at this point is upset because it's like, okay, y'all done brought this energy in here. I'm not happy with this. And she begins to shut her party down. And this is where, at the very end, I'll talk about a story that happened to me in Korea involving a party. Um, Emily feels that Nicole needs to clear the air with Heather. Now, this is one of those things where I can understand what Emily is trying to do, but it's like you're overstepping your bounds. And obviously, this is a very sensitive moment, a sensitive topic. And obviously, they've all been drinking. So sometimes your tone is not going to be the right tone to deliver certain messages. And Nicole says to her, if I need your opinion, I'll ask you for it. She says it twice. And it's because Emily kept going. And the first time Emily paid, I'm not going to say she paid the dust. I think she was still trying to register everything. Because the second time that it was said by Nicole, I believe in this moment. Again, we just going to talk about reality television. I'm not finna play these dang on games with y'all now. I feel like Emily feel like, oh, snap. I just been sunned. Oh, they record me too. Let me go ahead and let her know. So now she begins to go off on Nicole and saying, see, I was being your friend tonight. And Nicole is just like, girl, you only know me for 20 minutes. And this is another thing that people tend to throw around the word friend very, very loosely. Like, it's levels to this, but 20 minutes and you already say I was trying to be a friend to you? Like, maybe I was trying to be a sister to you. I was trying to be a good person, a good Samaritan, but trying to be, oh, okay, all right, Emily. And then she says to her, you know what, just sit down. Emily was already sitting. I kind of get where she was trying to go with it, because calm down probably would have been better. Take a chill pill or something, but telling her to sit down when she was already sitting, it's just like, oh, that one fell flat. And I'm like, come on, Nicole, I need for you to kind of just be on a little bit more. Just be on a little bit more. You was falling behind, baby. So Gina snaps off because she's mad, which is bad because not only is she an attorney, but she also did this with Kelly Dodd. I believe it was season 14, where she threatened to kill her, which it was warranted because Kelly was talking cash money about her husband, Shane. given the whole situation. But it's like when these things happen, you are creating a pattern that is being documented by these cameras, which means if Emily ever gets into a physical altercation with someone, they can easily say, well, she did this with Kelly Dodge, she did this with Nicole. We clearly have an established pattern. Just saying. Um, so Gina, no, I'm sorry, Emily, no, Gina is pulling Emily up, trying to remove her from the situation. It's just like, okay, and that is a good friend, where it's just like, okay, you starting to get a little bit too. Let me go ahead and try to remove you, because telling somebody to calm down, which I have experienced in this apartment, somebody trying to tell me to calm down, and I'm like, wait. When somebody's already on 10, just don't tell them to calm down, unless you have that rapport with that person, and even still, trying to remove them is probably a better option. So Emily walks off. Emily then tells Gina, "You need to come with me. You're my friend." Where it's like, I get what you saying, but it's like I would have been one of those where it's just like, hold the hell on. You don't tell me what to do now, baby. I'm your friend and everything, but you don't demand nothing to me. I ain't Shane. Better yet, if you can't sit here and run your household, you can't run me. Back to my notes. Let me see. So Noella is seeing everything play out, and she begins to get close to Shannon by trying to comfort her and whatnot. Now again, pulling back the veil of reality television. As of right now, in terms of who is on the show, Shannon has the seniority, despite the fact we can say Heather too, but Heather took a 5-year break, so it's Shannon. Shannon is the girl. So Noella is trying to get in where she fit in. No, I see what you're doing, Noella. I ain't mad at you, but I see you. But the other girls are trying to be cool with Heather because Heather is that girl. Again, I see y'all. It's understandable. Um, Let me see. And in the process of trying to console her and whatnot, she sees Max and runs over to Max, which is Heather's child, if I'm not mistaken, more than likely, because there should have been a child there. So yeah, her child, and trying to bond over the fact that they're both bisexual. Okay, cool. At the same exact time, it's kind of weird, an adult trying to sit here and bond with a child unless you're trying to be a mentor. But okay. Emily and Gina return, and Gina and Shannon are having words because Shannon is upset because of what happened. And here's the reality, y'all, on some real. The reality is, had you not opened your mouth, none of this would have happened. Because I had a situation where I confided in a peer. That peer went and mouthed some sensitive information about one of my soldiers to one of our superiors, and it spiraled. And it was one point where I was so mad at this person, I had to realize, you know what, y'all, if you never open up your mouth, none of this would happen. And I just had to eat it at that point, like, okay, cool. I just can't deal with this person no more because obviously you got loose lips, but I know that I've literally just jeopardized relationships because now you have people that may not want to confide in me because then again, those who've been in the military, sometimes it's stressful dealing with soldiers and everything, and sometimes you just need somebody to talk to. I was in Korea, so I couldn't easily just reach back home to talk to my friends. So yeah, whatever. Anyway, Heather brings Terry to Nicole, and by the way it played up, it looked like, oh snap, Terry's about to go off, and we find out that Heather and Nicole have been friends for 6 years. Now, I don't know if they've truly been friends for 6 years or if they've known each other for 6 years, because there's a difference. But it was asked, well, why didn't you tell her? And the whole thing is like, in essence, I didn't want this to become a thing. And Terry's whole thing is, it's cool because the situation was dropped. And with that being said, it was dropped. It went away. And Terry even said in his line of business, that does happen, where you get sued sometimes, But because it never grew legs, is why he's just like, man, his whole thing is like, I mean, it would have been nice had you brought it up, but we not finna lose sleep over it. We good. It is what it is. So, yeah, said that. So Gina and Heather go off to the side. Shannon walks, like, at some point joins in because again, Shannon is at this point is doing her best to get ahead of everything because now this thing it's grown multiple sets of legs and she can't get around it. Gina apologizes, but Heather feels that Gina was pretty much talking badly about her husband, just based off of how this is. Like, Heather feels like, okay, you must have been talking negatively about my husband. And she says, then they typically say don't shoot the messenger, but I'm letting you know from where I stand, shoot the messenger. Where it says, I understand what you was trying to do in the moment, because this is all in the moment. Emotions are high, but she's just like, yeah, I'm the type to shoot the messenger. Heather then turns to Shannon and tells her that pretty much you was messy for what you just did. For what you did. Like, I'm mad at you and I'm shooting the messenger, but also let me turn to you right quick and let you know you spearheaded this and you are wrong for this. And she walks off. Just like, I ain't got it to do, nah, nah, nah. And then Shannon, I'm sorry, she walks away as Shannon is trying to plead her case. And I think it's because Heather's just like, okay, past behavior, and you're still on this tip. At one point, Shannon and Heather run into each other in the hall, and Heather is pretty much just over it. And she's like, I thought we were going to try to be friends, but she was also said, like, I just sat here and made all these accommodations. I'm sitting here doing my best to try to get us on a good foot. And you bring this to my house, you bring this energy here, where one person don't eat meat. I'm trying to, and for those who've ever done a party where you're trying to accommodate all your guests, and then one of those guests that you're going out of your way to accommodate bring some mess to you, yeah, it's one of those ways. It's a no bueno. So then you have Emily and Heather. This is after the party, like next day or whatever. Talk on the phone, and Emily invites her out to lunch with Gina. Heather says yes. You have Shannon. She calls and thanks Noella for her support because she needs somebody. Because now, pretty much, you're going to out and all by yourself. And Shannon says in her confession that she owns her part but doesn't like how she's being portrayed. And even though I understand the but, there really isn't a but. Heather and Terry talk. Heather feels that Shannon might want to hurt her because, again, why would you even spearhead any of this? Because the reality is, if you felt this was the same Nicole, she could have easily been like, "Hey, let's meet up and say, I know we're trying to restart, but blah 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 blah," and you just be ahead of it, whatever. And she mentioned that the party was $36,000 down the drain, and not just that it was down the drain, they never even got to the dinner portion. Which I understand the frustration. I really do. I feel that Heather should have just been like, you know what? You heifers, get out. But the party's still gonna go on. But this is more than likely a party for the show, so whatever. So Jen and Ryan go to dinner. She's trying to have dialogue with him. Ryan is kind of trying to, not really engage in the business dialogue that she's talking about. She then brings up their daughter and how her daughter wishes that she was more like the other moms, and she's trying to find that balance. All right, cool. Emily and Shane, they have date night. They're in a good place. They've been married for 13 years. And she had said that, with Shane being sick because he had the COVID, he was throwing up, coughing up blood, couldn't hardly breathe and whatnot. So while he was in the hospital, and they felt like he might not have made it, she saw it, she understood in that moment why some people have faith, because she needed to have something to hold on to, because he's Mormon and she doesn't really have a religion to hold on to. And they talk about their daughter and her getting baptized. One second. All right, so and this is pretty much it, because now I gotta go help out the moms. So Gina and Emily, they're having lunch. Heather shows up. Heather says that you pretty much says to Emily that wasn't the time or the place, and then Gina's just like, let me understand, let me explain to you why I did it. So my husband cheated on me, and he had invited me over to the mistress's house. Everyone there knew about the situation, which is typically how that goes. She didn't know. She didn't find out until after the party, and it crushed her that you have all these people that know this, and nobody even thought to bring it to that person. And it's probably because their loyalty was to him and not to her. But she knows how that felt. So she felt, well, that was the reason that she wanted to share it with her, because you have people here that know this, and she doesn't want her to look stupid. Got it. Heather mentions that Shannon said that she trusted the two of them, but was telling her not to trust them. And that's going to be a point of contention. And that is the episode. So now, okay, guys, got 20 minutes. So let me share my story. I want to say this was probably 2014 going into 15. Hanukkah. Favorite holiday. Love Hanukkah. So I was throwing a party. I was living in the Bears, but I was throwing a party. I was pretty much inviting everybody that worked in the tower that I worked in. I actually worked in the GCA, which is ground control approach, but the tower was right above, like, was one floor above us, where they pretty much did what a tower does, air traffic control, y'all. And there was one person there that I really didn't care for, but I'm like, you know what? It would be very messed up. Even though I'm very petty, and I am an a-hole, but I'm like, it would feel very messed up, especially during this holiday season, for me to sit here and invite everybody but her. And that I wanted to. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try to be nice. I invited everybody. Not everybody came, but she did. She and I stayed on the same floor in the Bears, which means that all she really needed to bring was whatever she was going to drink on for drunk dreidel and her key card to get back into her room. That was it. But she brought a purse with her. And when she came into the party, she set her purse behind the modem that is in the room that I sleep in. We were in the other room where I was entertaining. This is important. So we're having a good time playing drunk dreidel, getting drunk. I'm passing out gifts. I done cooked everything that was there. I did a whole lot of deep frying and whatnot. Like, we were having a really, really good time. And I'm just like, okay, cool. And for a moment, I'm just like, all right. Maybe I was doing too much by inviting this one particular female that I didn't want here. I was wrong. Because now she's drunk, and I've seen her out and about. And if I didn't mention, we were in South Korea, but I've seen her out and about. Cannot hold her liquor, whatever. And she's European American, by the way, because that's going to come into play in this particular story. So now she's ready to go. She cannot find her purse because I'm sitting here between cooking, entertaining, all this other stuff. I had no idea she brought a purse in. We didn't, and I didn't know at the time that it was in my other room behind the damn modem, so I didn't know. So we're trying to find it, whatnot. She had her key card. What did she have her key card? No, I think they went down to staff duty and grabbed the key card, the master key, to get into her room to see if she left her wallet in there. No, she had her key card. Well, that doesn't matter. But they were trying to find it, and we are of mixed company of ranks. Because technically, I was a E5, a sergeant, so I could only technically hang out with sergeants and staff sergeants. But I invited everybody in my facility, so that was kind of like a loophole. But I was technically drinking with the lower enlisted, so she wanted to call the MPs, the military police. And I'm looking, and we're always just like, that's not a good idea. Because at that point, our leadership is not going to care that everybody from the facility was invited. All of a sudden, they're just going to be like, so y'all were drinking with the lower enlisted, which means you're going to lose a rank and become a sergeant like me. I'm going to lose a rank and become a specialist again. Like, it's chaotic. And then at one point, she asked if one of the soldiers that she works with, who I don't know what his makeup is, but for all intents and purposes, African American, and said, call him and see if his wife picked up my purse by accident. And we're all looking like, we know the hell you did it. And at some point, somebody found the purse. And luckily for me, the party was like, we had already did everything for the party. So I literally kicked everybody out. Because I'm just like, y'all have ruined one of my favorite holidays. Now, if we weren't done with everything, she would have just been excluded. Because I really wanted to finish the party. But it was just like, I cannot believe that I invited you against my best judgment, and you messed up my party. So I understood where Heather was. I really do. Whether this party was for the show or not, I understand the feelings. I just didn't like the fact that she kicked everybody out before really realizing the entire party. But at the same exact time, for those of y'all who've been a host and had a party ruined, sometimes you can't get past that particular point and you don't want to continue to host and mess up everything for everybody else. I would have found the strength to do it, especially know that I just dropped 36 that. Now we gonna make it to the very end. I'm gonna give myself a moment, gather myself, do what I need to do to gather myself, and then we go come back to it. But I definitely understood it. And my question for y'all is, for those who have hosted parties, have you had something happen where there's drama, and how did you deal with it? Do you think that Heather was doing too much? Because I don't. Heather has done a lot in the past, but I don't think she was doing too much in this particular point. So that's it. That is all that I have. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and share. I will attempt to give y'all the next 3 episodes today. We don't know. But if I don't, Happy New Year. Peace out.